for this pop-up. Okay. Excuse me. Do you see my? No, okay. I have why it's in pause. Okay. Okay, you see the.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, but you don't see the correct screen, no?
No, we are seeing also the the template.
Okay, sorry. Now it's okay.
Now it's working.
But you're not seeing the correct page, no? You see the big screen?
Yeah, the big screen. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so the agenda is the following. First, short introduction, then we will do a small icebreaker to know each other. Then we will have a participative session where we will try to share our ideas on the lab work and the participatory engagements that well, the ways we already thought about it and what we did already. After that, Jean-Marc Touzard from INRAE will tell us a bit about the concept of system of innovation and see how this can help us in Talanoa. So it's a concept, but the idea is to see how it can bring operational ideas for the implementation of our transformative ideas and strategies. Then we will have again a participative session towards designing our participative process and yeah, I should have changed the title, but work around the idea of having a toolbox. So what are the different tools, methods, platforms that we can have or that we want to use in our participative work in our labs. After that, Dioni will tell us about how we can mobilize the app, the Talanoa app and the Agora for the work in the laboratories. And we will have a final discussion on what is needed to go further in our lab work and what we need to look for as resources, methodology, tools to advance. Dioni, I leave you for a few words if you want to.
Yeah, thank you, Nina. So no, I'm going to be very brief. I just want to highlight the importance of the workshop and, well, moreover, of the work package that we are going to deal with today, which is the work package referred to the labs. As you know, we have a series of labs in Talanoa in different countries in which we are supposed to deploy and implement transformational adaptation solutions. These transformational solutions were screened somehow in the proposal. Obviously, they are not written in stone. We also warned about that to reviewers and Prima by the time we wrote the proposal. Is explicitly written in the proposal. And what I mean is that as you progress and deal with the stakeholders and you engage them, we expect them to have feedback. As you can see here, it's an iterative process. It's the stakeholder engagement that we will follow in Talanoa. And that probably, well, that very likely is going to result in a change in the transformational policy that we are going to implement in each laboratory. So we made a screening first. We selected some policy that could be tested in each of the laboratories. We need to achieve a high TRL level. So that's important that you bring that in mind. So when you are thinking with the stakeholders what sort of policies can be implemented in your lab, you have to be reminded that we are supposed to deliver a high TRL level, say 6, 7. So it means that it has to be, ready to be implemented, not just a pilot case study in which we run some simulations using a model. I mean, that has to be very close to application. I mean, application in a real life setting, adoption of the policy by policymakers. That's what I mean. Well, in this picture, what I asked Nina to put this picture because I think it's very relevant. It shows very well the relevance of this work package, of the work package that Nina is coordinating on the water laboratories together with Isam, who's the co-lead for this work package. So in this work package, basically all the work that we are going to develop in Talanoa-WATER, which means engagement of stakeholders via the Talanoa dialogue. And the modeling that we are developing in the different laboratories about which, well, I'm going to talk later on, because we are supposed to have a workshop on that very soon. Well, I mean, the modeling and the stakeholder engagement process that we are developing in TALANOA-WATER will be combined in the water labs. So the idea is that these water labs are, I mean, as it's now, as its own name is suggesting, are the places where we are going to test, the laboratories where we are going to test the ideas that are being developed through co-creation with the stakeholders. So it's very important that we have a clear idea of how to combine all the knowledge that we are creating into outputs that are practical. And that's what I wanted to highlight in this presentation. I mean, we are supposed to deliver policies. And it's important that we do not stop in our models, which will be, our comfort zone, I know, but it's not enough. I mean, we are going to create excellent models that I know we are capable of that, but the real challenge for scientists like us is to put these models into practice. And that's where we have to be very, very sure that we put in place and make the Talanoa dialogue work in each of the laboratories. So just, I guess the key message: do not forget that TALANOA-WATER is about implementing policies. I'm not saying that you have to implement all the policies that you put in the proposal, but you have to implement a policy and it has to be transformational. And secondly, do not forget that our tool to implement these policies is the TALANOA dialogue. So it's important that we have an excellent deliverable that was led by CMCC on the TALANOA dialogue. I don't know if all of you had the chance to go through it, but otherwise I invite you to go through it because it's a living document. If you have any proposal to improve it, it's great, but we have to stick to that document. I mean, it's important that we create this engagement via the TALANOA dialogue because obviously this is what the project is about. So yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to say. Nina, thank you. It's only highlighting these two ideas. We need to rely on the TALANOA dialogue and we need to combine our models and the TALANOA dialogue to deploy and implement policies in the water laboratories.
Okay, thank you, Dioni. It's true, for instance, well, I shouldn't say this, but for me, the deliverable on TALANOA dialogues, I haven't seen it, and I wasn't really aware of it, well, before you told me about, so I'm sorry for, maybe I will, well, I could have told different things if I have thought the thing more integratedly with what we have already on the table with CMCC. So sorry for that if it pops up. Why?
Nina, we are seeing the wrong screen again.
Okay.
So that's in the template.
Yeah. Okay. I had problems because when I admit people, I need to.
Oh yeah.
So now, okay. Yeah, but now you see the, okay, I will, oh, sorry. I will stop. Okay, and I will. Okay, I don't know why. I hope people will stop arriving because it's difficult for me doing both.
Just a quick comment on what you said. I mean, I assume that many people here have not read the deliverable. I mean, we are all very busy, and it's fine as long as we have not started. I mean, for example, in our case, in our water laboratory, we have been mostly focusing on bilateral meetings and bilateral meetings, really. So, I mean, in this case, the TALANOA dialogue is not really necessary because the TALANOA dialogue is for multi-stakeholder engagement. But I would encourage you to read it ahead of the workshops, especially. And if you're planning to organize a multilateral meeting, because I know it's going to be really tricky, but I think it's really the key. I mean, the project is about trying to create this empathic atmosphere where people respect each other. I know in some cases in Spain, it's going to be really a challenge because I mean, we have a huge problem in the case study area, and the parties are really at war, I will say, with each other. But I mean, our objective is to avoid that. And ahead of the workshop, I would invite all the labs and the scientists in labs to take a look at the deliverable.
Yeah, of course. Okay, but I think we were not really aware of it in our mailboxes, or otherwise I missed something. But yeah, it's really important because I think it's a core of our method.
I will talk about that when we talk about the app and the website. And
okay. Okay, so 2 words on why having this workshop. So the idea is to launch the activities of work package 4, which is entitled Lab. And the actuality is that we have the first deliverable 4.1, which is held under the task 4.1 also, that is due in April. And this deliverable is supposed to be a guideline to the lab's work. So the idea is that to conceive this guidance, we should rely on what we all want to do and what we already have in our toolboxes, methods, know-how, and try to go a little further if we want to. So the idea was to propose this workshop to discuss this and assemble all our knowledge and our different visions. An interesting discussion is also to define what is our minimum core in our participative, or let's say labs work. So for instance, I imagine that the TALANOA dialogue is obviously, and the series game also is obviously a minimum core that we will have in common in all the labs. And we think it's important also for the scientific valorization of the project. So the objective of the workshop today is to launch work package 4 activities and also to better fit the guidance documents that we will provide you. So the idea is more or less to do it together. Also, we will be holding the pen. So for that, we need to understand where we are all, what our ideas are, and what the skills and where the skills are between the partners, so we can efficiently share our experiences and knowledge on that, and also identify your needs in terms of labs work. So if one partner wants to get a technique that one other partner masters, then the idea is to offer here a platform so that we identify these methodologies or techniques and that we talk about them in the guidance document. And then that people can collaborate together. And the idea was also to try to have something that is participative just for the sake of it, because we rarely have the opportunity to work together. So and so as a conclusion, we won't talk about the guidelines in this meeting. Why a participative workshop? I think I already mentioned most of the ideas. So the idea is to co-construct with all of you the guidelines, to get used to this facilitation of participative workshops. So this is one trial, and you will see for me also it's a trial because I never worked with Klaxoon, so you will need to be very empathic. Maybe some of, I think there are very different levels of experiences, methods that are used by partners. So the idea is that we all get ideas from the others. So this is just the description from the project document on work package 4, just to get the ideas back in head. As Dioni said, so we INRAE are leading work package 4 together with Issam Nouiri as a co-lead. So we are also both lead and co-lead of task 4.1, with contributors being University of Salamanca, American University of Beirut, and JPI in Egypt. I hope everyone, don't hesitate to tell me if people are waiting in the waiting room, if I don't see them, but it should be okay. So the idea of this work package, I think, as Dioni said, is really to say that all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together in this work package. So we prepare the participation work in the engage work package. We will be working on models and science in the work package entitled models. We will do communication stuff in the work package 5, if I'm not wrong. And the idea here is that everything gets connected and is implemented efficiently. So it's a lot of operational work. Yes, and again, but I think it's clear with the deliverable, the objective for task 4.1 is to develop a platform for coordinated and harmonized implementation of the system of innovation in the water laboratories. And the objective, well, that we have as leaders, co-leaders and contributors is to help you while guiding you, overseeing and facilitating the implementation of all the methods. Okay, so these, I won't detail them, but it's, so again, it's the project document with all the steps that we are supposed to implement in work package 4. So the different steps going from the setup of research and assessment objective towards the future scenarios, the strategies, and this iteration here of that Dioni, I think, told about also between co-constructing strategies and scenarios, testing them with our model and during the workshops, and identifying at the end some robust strategies and their implementation. So the idea is that in the guidelines, we will detail these steps with obviously some open questions like the number of iterations and things like this that will also be uncovered at the pace of the project when we really go deep in our labs work. So in terms of participation, what is written in the project doc is, well, I think you know this, but it's organized web meetings every 2 months to review progress in the water laboratories. So we will come back to this idea in the conclusion to suggest you a way of meeting regularly with you on the work package 4. And then we have, as you know, the International Science Policy Workshop, midterm review, and also webinars with our work packages. So I'm done with the introduction. Do you have any salient questions about what we just said with Dioni? No questions or remarks or comments. If not, then I suggest you that so I will stop the sharing of my screen here. And now I suggest you that we turn to the Klaxoon app. So I put the link in the chat and in the mails yesterday. So do you have, everyone has the link to the board? Oh, okay. There are still people in the waiting room, or are we good? No, okay, it's okay. Okay, so Jean-Marc, I see. I will try to follow it. Okay, so you prefer I talk for your session. Okay, you will tell me after your coffee how you feel. Okay, so I will share my screen again on the Klaxoon app.
Nina?
Yes?
I think that Yaro raised his hand.
Oh, excuse me.
Has a question or?
Go ahead, Yaro. Sorry, I
Good morning.
Enough screen to see also.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just wanted to give you also some feedback. I mean, it's somehow strange. You speak to a number of people and there's a silence from the background. But a quick question and a quick suggestion. There are a number of tools that you have already highlighted that we are planning to apply. I just wanted to bring in also the citizens assembly. That we might be able to test in the Italian case study. It's quite politically contested. You might know France has a good experience with climate assemblies. But on the river basin scale, it might be interesting. So I will be happy to talk about our plans later on, but I need to disconnect now for a meeting with the UNFCCC for about half an hour, and then I will be back. Just wanted to make that clear. So I'm happy to introduce the tool later on and speak how we are going to implement that, but I need to disconnect for a short time.
Okay. Well, I think we will be talking about the tools when you're back, I hope. Thank you, Jaros. Okay. Anyone else? No. Okay. So do you see? Yeah. Do you see the board now?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's working.
Perfect. Yeah. So as a short introduction, it's my first time really facilitating through Klaxoon, but it was a sort of challenge for me because, well, I hope we are out of the pandemic, but in case we are in a previous project, it was difficult to do participative work during the pandemic. So now I think, I hope we will be, we have finished with that, but in case in the Talanoa work, we need to go back to, or maybe for smaller meetings with colleagues, I thought it was maybe some idea to test between us, and at least the work in the consortium, as we haven't met yet. It's so it's both a test and a support. So I don't know how many of you already use Klaxoon. Can you raise your hand? Are there any experts? Okay, not a lot. Okay, I'm wondering maybe it's even something French at the initially, so it might explain also the fact that we are not a lot of people using Klaxoon. So as a first thing, in order that you get used to this platform. So if you see my screen, I won't do a long tuto because I think when we will be using it, it will come. But maybe the two important things, you see my little hand here. So you can navigate with the arrow. So when it's here, when you click on the arrow, you can just pull the board around like a blank sheet. Trying not to pull around things, just on the white thing. And when you select the picker option, it enables you to move things around. So this will be useful when you will be posting ideas, and you see that your idea lands in the middle of the page. You want to take it. Yeah, exactly. Someone is, and you can move. Exactly. I see you can experiment it. I think this is more or less what you need to know. And the most important thing afterwards is also this little plus here. This enables you to give new ideas. So when we will be in the questions in the session, you will be able to here put your ideas, let's say citizens assemblies, when we will be working on the toolbox, for instance. And then you can suggest your idea with sense. You can use colors. Maybe we can try to use different colors for different people, but well, anyway. And and then you can also assess a category to your idea. Now we have questions, ideas, and remarks, comments. So don't hesitate. Well, the idea is not that all the ideas only go literally, but also that we speak with each other. But it's true that it's convenient to have this support also, as we are a lot of people, to initiate our, let's say, brainstorming. So as a first exercise, now what I will do is, in theory, now when I do this, you follow me also, I think. So now I zoom in our icebreaker. And if you can, would you like to try to paste here your photo? and the name and your name. So we have a nice picture of who is here today, and then I can group partners together. So for the photos, either you do insert, which is at the right bottom, import here, you can import things, or just you copy paste. You copy paste, and what is a bit tricky is that what you will be copy pasting, be it text, an image or whatever, will be localized in the center of what you see on your board. And it might be very small, but I will be helping you to put your photos in bigger. Yeah, great. Someone succeeded. Great. So if you want to make it bigger, I will help you. You just do like this. Okay. I can try to, I will help you with the text. So you can use my little for the text.
Nina, excuse me.
Yeah.
We should install Klaxoon, the app's Klaxoon on the PC. No?
No. In theory, you just need to follow the link and you can work directly on what you are seeing.
Okay.
So, yes. So it's true that now I'm sharing my screen to introduce you to Klaxoon, but the better thing maybe is that you still listen to me, but you don't look at the shared screen. You open the link that I put in the
email,
in the email, and you will be following me, even though if you're not looking the screen. So if I go to another part, your board will also be moving. Do you understand?
I try.
I put you little text boxes, so don't hesitate to take them.
Right.
Great.
Oh no, mine disappeared.
Maybe we can try to group. So Jean-Marc, I take you next to me. In that. Oops. I take Yaros next to. Great, I think it's working. If you have any question, don't hesitate. Okay, Francesco, I take you next to Dioni. If you don't have a picture, you can just write your name down. Okay. Does everybody succeeded? I will not do the check.
Hi, Nina. I'm still struggling.
Okay.
Me too.
Did you succeed in joining the board?
Yes, I did.
And did you put your photo or not yet? I will put your name at least. Okay, Abdo?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I need the help maybe.
Yeah, I put your name and it's already fine. Can you write things? Do you?
I can't.
You can't. Okay. Sorry, is it Abdo or Mohammed who's talking now?
Mohamed Fethi.
Yeah, excuse me. Okay, so you say you can't
Yes.
write. Did you succeed to get into the board?
No.
Okay. You have the link?
Yes, I have the link on the email.
I put it again on the. It's also on the chat.
To join. Okay.
I will put your name so you can at least you. You are from INAT, Mohammed?
Yes.
I don't know who just joined. If
I just write my name.
I did that. It's okay. But if go ahead if you want to try. I don't know who just joined. If the person was already there or not. In case you weren't there, we are just on the Klaxoon board. Trying on number 2 on the little icebreaker, we are trying to put our names and photos on the Klaxoon board. Okay, so Mohammed, I hope you will be able to join, but I put your name is there, so maybe you can at least try to move it around. Can you take your name and?
Okay. I don't know. I can move the screen, but I can't move my name, for example.
Okay, so for this, you can try to use the little arrows at the bottom left. You have 2 arrows. You have the picker, this one, well, the one with a square around the arrow. And then there you can take things and move them around. And for the other arrow, it's just moving around the board, but not moving things. Okay, well, I think we need to move on. Thank you, everyone, for this little, let's say, a prise en main. I don't know how you call it. Well, it's great that everyone succeeded. Well, I think, except Mohammed, but I see your, I think, yeah, I see. Okay, this is. well, we can leave it like this, and if you want, you can complete it after the workshop. What is nice with this board is that we will have something remaining after it. So don't hesitate to complete things afterwards also. It will still be open. So thank you. And I think we have a nice team here and nice photos, and it makes things a bit more lively. Okay, so if you can still follow me, I will be going now to the next step where we suggest you to share your ideas on the lab work and engagement. So the idea is to share a bit the ideas we have, and also very importantly the question we still have in our labs and that we want to discuss together, and that needs to be untangled. So initially I thought we would be doing this 2 by 2, but my Zoom plan doesn't allow me to do groups. So what I suggest you is that we will be individually putting our ideas, let's say taking a few minutes, and then we can talk about the ideas that have been sent, if it's okay for you. So the idea was to work around these 4 questions. Firstly, how to engage stakeholders effectively. So here, how to ensure that are really concerned, that they will actively participate, and that they will believe in the process and in the results. So these questions are really super important, because it's not only about having meetings and that people think, okay, TALANOA is a small thing in their arrow, but that they really believe in what we are doing. So if you have some ideas about how to engage them effectively, so you can put a plus here. Well, I say plus, but I think you don't see my screen. And then your idea will be localized in the middle. So here, I don't know if you see, I just put an idea, but it's arriving very small, right in the middle of your screen. So then you take your idea and you can move it to the right place. After, the second question is what problems you face so far. So it's interesting also, we share this. How you address these issues. And the last one is what pending important questions we have for the lab work. So go ahead and we can brainstorm a bit about these points. I stop my screen sharing, so tell me if it's problematic for you, but I think it's not really useful. So I can.
Nina.
Yes.
I insert my photo, but it's too small. I don't think you can see it. Can
Okay.
you?
So try to take the small arrow to select your photo, and then you just pull on the edges to make it bigger. I think we were disconnected, but I hope I feel everyone is back. Okay. Does anyone succeed in, I see ideas are coming. Does anyone face problems just putting ideas, or it's okay? For me, everything is blocked. I don't know what happens.
I think it was you, Nina, who was disconnected,
Okay,
because all the others remained here.
okay.
And yeah, people are writing now. I mean, we are writing on Klaxoon.
Yeah, okay, I see. It's
Seems to be working.
very good. Do not bother with the round. I will be trying to put it bigger and reorganize the idea, but now I don't have any access to it. I don't know, I have problems with my internet, I think.
If you still have problems, then I can share my screen perhaps, and you can see the progress on Klaxoon.
No, it's okay. I just came back in with Edge. It's okay. Yeah, so for the first package, I see there are ideas around the methods that are used. So I pick them and I put them at the bottom. But... Oops, if you want, I will lock this because it's... So there is another, let's say, package that I can see in the first one is like principles or attitudes when conveying the stakeholders. So for instance, the informal monthly meeting, have a learning session in your first workshop, assign roles to stakeholders, short project presentations prior to local meetings, collecting users' requirements with dedicated questionnaires, a previous presentation, local press media. And so the other one is more on methods, and I think we will talk also on methods in the toolbox. Yeah, I think relationships is the same. Okay, so this is more methods. Okay, great. We have, I think, very nice ideas and the very productive session. Okay, so in the problems that we have are share of information, a common area to work on interesting for multiple stakeholders. So when you mention a common area, is this a spatial issue or more the type of the problem?
As it will, I can answer.
Yeah.
Nina? Nina, do you hear me?
I can't hear you very slowly.
Wait.
Tell me. Yeah, now
Maybe you can hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So as it was, the comment was from our side, I was referring specifically to a geographical area.
Okay.
We had to struggle a little bit finding a common area because some stakeholders may be interested there, some here, and to find, let's say, an area of interest for all was not that easy. But
Yeah. I totally agree. I also fear this will pop up in our lab in France. I already mentioned something like this. Okay. So we have also political issues. Oh, hello, Marta.
Hello.
So just to let you know, we are right now on the board, so on the Klaxoon board, so you can join us there. And we are on the number 3, where we are commenting on our questions or solutions around the participation and the lab work. Have you ever used Klaxoon or?
No, it's the first time I'm discovering.
Okay, so just in 2 words, the idea is you have a plus button in the center at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And this plus button enables you to contribute and to post ideas that will be located at the center of your screen, but you can move them around with the arrows that are on the left bottom side.
Okay.
Okay? Don't hesitate if you have questions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I see someone put in C the suggestion of a training on water labs. Is that referring to a training between us, the TALANOA members, or in your lab for the stakeholders? I don't know who put this idea, which is
I put this idea, I think, between members of the TALANOA project.
Okay. Okay, because I also added a similar idea in the first one, also for the stakeholders. It can be an idea that, well, participation, etc., is really something that is not evident. So even for the stakeholders, it might be interesting to make them like a small teaching session on what we will be doing and how it's. But okay, well noted, and maybe I will add that here it's for TALANOA members. So I see some are already doing links. Very nice. Thank you. That's great. So this is close here. So for Egypt, you mentioned, and this topic was already on the table, the political issue. Maybe you can, do you want to take 1 minute to explain us a bit? So if it's Abdo, maybe if you want to explain us the problem, well, concretely, what is the, well, not the source of the problem, I can imagine, but more, the problem is that you cannot put them in the same meeting, is that you don't have the right to speak up on certain problems. What is it exactly? Can you tell us a bit more?
Okay, but I accept to see in the big questions.
Yeah, I see it. But my question was to understand a bit more what is concretely the problem. Is it that you cannot put some people together in a meeting? Is it that you cannot speak up about, let's say, water allocation issues? What is it concretely?
I think Abdo may be referring to the problem that we had at the beginning of the project. I mean, with the Egyptian lab and the engagement of certain, well, dealing with certain topics, and this is why we had to make the amendment to the proposal and the grant agreement, because the Egyptian government refused to well, they either refused, they didn't give approval in time for the project, because the policy, the water policy is a very sensitive issue right now there, especially with the construction of the new Renaissance Dam in Ethiopia. And it's becoming more of let's say an internal affair issue than just an environmental policy. So it may be connected to that, I assume. Because we had these problems, and this, for example, this is why the Egyptian lab now is focusing only on the delta instead of the Nile River. We excluded that explicitly because, well, otherwise we could run into trouble.
But does that mean that in the end they will be able to do some participation?
Yeah, but I guess that it's restricted to stakeholders, local stakeholders in the delta, because the government, the ministry didn't give approval to the project. Okay. It doesn't mean that they banned it. They didn't say that we shouldn't do it either, but it just takes time, and well, maybe we don't have it for developing what we, all the ambitious goals that we have. So in the case of Egypt, maybe it's better to focus on a small area and on a smaller. Well, the delta is huge, but still not the entire basin.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I see other ideas. I don't know if you want someone to share a bit their thoughts on this and on the links. Oops.
Opa. We are starting to have some ideas on how to solve things, which is good.
Yeah, it's very good there.
Initially, it was empty. Well, some of them, if I may, Nina, some of them are already in the proposal, and we are supposed to do that. So, for example, someone is mentioning training program for scientists. We are supposed to organize 2 summer-winter schools. We are supposed to organize training of the stakeholders, but also other scientists. And here we have several PhD students. For example, in Salamanca, we have 2 PhD students who are working in the project. You're going to hire another one, Nina, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So this is the training that, obviously we mentioned also in the proposal that we are going to use the institution's facilities and degrees and masters and PhDs also to convey our key message, which is something that we are doing. We managed, for example, in Salamanca to create a new subject in the Master of Business Administration for Agribusiness Administration on environmental sustainability, in which we are going to focus on water issues and results on the Talanoa dialogue. So all these things are already part of the proposal, and we are supposed to do them. So it's good that people are raising these issues, because, well, that's something that we should pursue. I understand that in this regard, coordination may be a little bit challenging because, well, each institution has its own degrees, and well, this is mostly a local task. But we have to coordinate, for example, for the summer-winter school and these things. But
and do we have already an idea when this, because it's true that concerning the teaching or in between us on participation and water labs, it should happen this year, I assume.
Yeah.
Do we already have some
training of stakeholders, you mean?
No, what Abdo was mentioning, not Abdo, I don't, the Talanoa training, Talanoa member training.
On the water.
So the webinars, yeah.
Well, there is nothing planned on this regard, but we can certainly organize workshops. The idea that we were discussing this week is to keep on having these workshops on a monthly basis. We are going to organize a training next month on modeling. So that's one thing. But on on water labs, I guess that, as part of work package 4 activities, we were discussing about that, Nina, so we can have a monthly or bi-monthly, depending on how many workshops we are going to have. I would say 1 workshop per month is enough. So to coordinate all the work package leaders to have 1 workshop per month.
Yeah.
And the next one could be on labs and Talanoa dialogue. Yeah. I think that was the idea. So yeah, I don't know. I can imagine a training on the Talanoa dialogue. It's much more difficult for me to imagine a training on water labs, because labs are very heterogeneous, and each one.
Yeah, for sure. We need to deepen and to have a specific topic.
I think that the relevant most, I mean, perhaps it would be better to have a training on Talanoa dialogue and toolbox that you were mentioning.
Yeah.
So more like saying we can do that, and then you pick whatever is good for you, than saying, I mean, this is how the lab has to be done because it's not prescriptive.
Okay. So I put this.
Yeah, I think up the road that the political issues in Egypt are concerned with the Ethiopian ban. And then another issue written here, promote active use of the Agora, and that means the web and the app. I think that's also very important, because right now we are working on on an online basis. We are not having in-person meetings, and we are struggling here in Salamanca to keep the app updated and upload all the documents that we are receiving from all of you, all the deliverables, everything is in there. And I think it's important. I know it's maybe annoying, but it's important that you activate the notifications from the app. I mean, just in the deliverables, maybe only. I mean, not all of them, because we have news, we have blogs, we have many things. I mean, you can ignore that if you want, or I would recommend to follow that, but at least activate the notifications on the deliverables to keep in touch and be updated with what's going on. Because I mean, there are some deliverables in which most of us or all of us are involved, but some others are really small. We also have, we only have two guys or two institutions involved.
Okay, I put this. And one question on this, not internal communication, but more external communication is, I'm wondering, do you think that the app and the website will be enough as a communication mean in between the stakeholders? Or should we contemplate using other things like Facebook groups or things like this that are very convenient, maybe for...
Yeah, we have to do that. I mean, in the proposal that's written, I mean, we have to use Facebook and YouTube channels from our partners and to convey there all the information. So we have the video. I mean, if all the institutional partners can utilize, I mean, can use their networks to reach out the stakeholders, that would be great, because the website and the app are not enough, really, because and maybe hopefully by the second year of the project there will be enough. But as of now, I mean, let's be realistic. We don't have many people connected to the website and the app. I mean, only us, the scientists.
Yeah.
So until the first workshop, yeah, we need to, and possibly after that, we need to reach them out through other channels. We are trying to do that, but yeah, obviously, I would say that the best way to do that is contact them in person. Because
you mean to ask what they would like as a communication?
Yeah, and also inform them about the project in person. I mean,
yeah.
We are doing. I mean, we are having bilateral. We have to go after them. It's. I know it's not very appealing, but I mean, the only way to have the only way to have the ministry aboard was to insist until we had a meeting with them.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, once a stakeholder group is more or less set up, let's say after the first big workshop, maybe we can also offer them to interact between them, like for instance, in a Facebook group. It's like it costs nothing to set up. It's done in 1 hour. You just invite people, and if they express some interest in communicating between them, and also it's a way to regularly send them things. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
We can think also of like easy to use and cheap options for us.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally. Perhaps these groups it's better if they are local.
Oh yeah.
You can have them in French, Italian, Spanish.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I try to organize well in the solution. So we, in the first potato, we see more technical options in meeting, and there we see communication issue, training issues that we just discussed, and some.
Oh, and just one thing, Nina, that we didn't mention, but we touched upon that. I mean, we are supposed to organize. We have to organize training sessions for stakeholders back to back the workshops. That's important when you're considering the organization of the workshop. We are going to show them the results, but we are also supposed to engage, maybe not in the first workshop, but ideally from the first workshop, to engage technical staff from the stakeholder side, either basin authority or ministry, and try to show them what we are doing and train them. That's also part of the stakeholder training that we are supposed to do.
Okay. So for instance, it's organizing a meeting and showing them how your model is working, and well, a way so that they believe or they can add to your science. Okay.
Yeah, in our case will be a 2-day workshop. So the second day, the second half of the second day will be about training at the end.
Okay. And it's training specifically on models.
In our case, I mean, it's in the end. I mean, the proposal is on purpose. It's a little bit abstract in this regard. So in our case, it will be mostly about modeling, because we are expecting to have a lot of people coming from the ministry and the river basin authority, and they are technical staff. But depending on who you are engaging, it may be better to train them on I don't know, irrigation or climate services that may be available out there, monitoring tools. It really depends on the gaps.
Okay.
In our case, we are now advising the construction of a number of dams in this basin. So we are training them on the tools that we are using for that.
Yeah, so maybe this discussion, maybe in between the lines is the step also to identify a bit the gaps and what is missing for the stakeholders to advance, to transform, and to understand the situation. And maybe it's also a nice transition to Jean-Marc's presentation on system of innovation, which is also allowing some time to deepen the understanding of the stakeholders, of their knowledge, of their information sources, of their models and heuristics, etc., etc.
I see, Nina, that Jean-Marc had to go, so I don't know.
Okay, I have this presentation, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I suggest we stop here because the time is advancing. So as said before, you can complete it afterwards. I will try to complement the harmonization and the organization of ideas, but I think we already have really a lot of material here that will help us to advance and to make sure that we have all these steps in our labs, so we succeed in efficient engagement and efficient results. So maybe just one quick look to the question, clarify a little the data and elaboration workflow to activate towards stakeholders, who make the scenarios actual and climate change mitigate. So this is more, so the clarify, it's I think this, I hope with the guidance it will help. And after, it's more an internal question on the question on who makes the scenarios. So in theory, it's co-construction of strategies, and the scenarios you have to look at what is existing already. Climate scenarios are existing, I think, everywhere. It's just a matter of working and reaching the correct people. And so, but I think we can help also here, Dioni, if some labs are a bit lost.
Yeah, I mean, in our case, so I mean, the scenarios obviously are already out there, because we can use the newer scenarios that have been set up recently by the IPCC, or we can use the standard scenarios they have been using this far, RCPs. I mean, this is all available in the intermodal comparison experiments and sample experiments of the CMIP or ICMIP. So, I mean, this is available online. We just have to download them and show them to the stakeholders. So in our case, for example, co-creation is relevant because, for example, in our case, in the case of the Tega River Basin, the Spanish lab, the stakeholders are only using one of these scenarios. So our challenge here is how to make them think about the need to consider other scenarios, to sample uncertainty and assess what may be the consequences of a worst case scenario. So those are, I mean, for us, these are the challenges, but it really depends on the lab. Some other labs may be considering all of these scenarios, so the co-creation is of the co-design of these scenarios is really not meaningful because they already consider that. But,
okay. Yeah, after there is a problem around, well, pending important questions about teaching, training on serious games. So yes, this, again, it's a whole subject, serious games. I think we are not all experts on this, so we will have one specific session on that. I think maybe after the Talanoa dialogues, we will speak about this. I think we have one more year before they are due, but we will need to think about it quickly. Yeah, and the regular meetings, this is what is already proposed, to have monthly meetings between us. Oh no, maybe this suggestion refers to water labs. I don't know who added. I suggest regular meetings to follow up what we are doing in the water labs and share experiences. Maybe when you have ideas, mention if you think about the Talanoa consortium, or if you think about the stakeholder platform and what you are doing. So if this refers to Talanoa, this is already suggested, so that we have one meeting per month on and to share our experiences and questions and problems among us. And concerning the labs, it's true that maybe we need to share about more regular events than the ones that are that we put in the project document, and which was good. So we are not too much constrained, but on the other hand, it's important that we think, I think this idea was already mentioned before, how we keep the link, then that people don't pop up after 8 months and saying, okay, what was this again? So finding ways of keeping the relation active in continuously. Okay, so I think we will go to the next step because the clock is running. If Jean-Marc is not there, and I think he is not, I will present you a few slides he gave me, and again say that I'm not an expert on this topic. So can you, oops, no, I cannot make my, just a minute. Can you see my screen? Maybe not the big one.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Well, even if it's a small one, it's, I think
not in presenting mode. We see the anticipation of the next slide.
Yeah, okay, maybe, okay. So it's this one, sorry, excuse me. Now it must be better.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so again, I'm not an expert. I've joined the innovation lab quite recently. So I'm not an economist of innovation, but so Jean-Marc is really an expert and worked nearly all his career on the idea of innovation in farming system and food systems. So related with agriculture and food systems. He will tell us more, I hope, next time when he he's more fit. Now he's with COVID, so he learned this morning he had COVID and his voice was nearly over. So, so what is the idea of this presentation, why I asked him to give a small talk, is the idea that all these theoretical or conceptual ideas around system of innovation can be useful for the TALANOA approach and our work in the labs. It was also an idea that we sold in the project, so it's written. I think we mentioned the word ecosystem of innovation rather than system of innovation, but the system of innovation is more used in the literature, and the term ecosystem popped up more recently in the literature. It refers also to doing intersectoral innovation. So system of innovation is considering all the stakeholders, the institutions, the relations, and the technologies that exist in a sector, here farming and food systems. So what is an innovation? It's an intentional introduction of a novelty in a socio-economic system. And this innovation can be technical, organizational, institutional, social, etc., etc. We can also, for instance, talk about, I'm not sure about the translation, but you suppress something, you remove something, and this, in France, we talk about innovation de retrait, is also considered as an innovation. And I think it's really important to have this in mind in the context of ecological transition. You can have innovations that are incremental, radical, or transformative. So in our case, we know that we want to target a transformative. I'm not sure, rather it's the items of innovation, but at least our aim is to transform. It's just not a matter of adoption by the final user, for instance, the farmer or the water user here in Talanoa. And it's not just also a linear process from inventors to adopters or from researchers to farmers, but it involves a large variety of stakeholders and of institutions. So innovation is a complex, iterative, multi-actors process with economic, cognitive, relational, and policy dimensions. So yeah, maybe just a word to say, here we talk about innovation because it's a literature and topic we are working on in the lab. But it can, what I want to do here is to relate it, innovation, adaptation is really close, even though it's different, but the idea is to, let's say, derive this concept and this theory to adaptation and to transition. Okay. So the first, one of the first ideas is to take into account all the stakeholders and their relation. So it's not directly the water user, for instance, but all the system or ecosystem that is around him, that is in relation with the water user. So for instance, the media, the input suppliers, the extension services, the climate services, the education, the NGOs, research, obviously, and etc. So one thing that we could do in our labs, for instance, operationally, is really map our stakeholders, allocate them in types of stakeholders, and try to illustrate the relation between them. So this is the idea of having different systems that are intricated. So for instance, here it's a picture related to agriculture and food systems. So we have the national innovation system, which is your country innovation system with specific networks of institutions who determine the national innovative performance. So if we want to translate this to Talanoa words and domains, let's say it's all the policy domains that are linked with water use and the related sectors, so industry, farming, drinking water, environment. So it's really very large. Then we have a sectoral innovation system, which is, for instance, related to only a specific agro-food industry, let's say in a wine sector or fruit sector, with our specific actors, private and public institutions, and specific knowledge backgrounds. And then we have the agricultural innovation system, which is the set of all organization, institution, networks, and knowledge flows that influences innovation or adaptation in our case, or transformation in the agricultural sector. So this is more or less the idea that it's really strongly interrelated, and having this clear in mind will help us to, well, firstly, to understand this relation. And I think it's necessary that we have these pictures in our case studies in our countries, so that we know what type of relations we need to trigger if we want to implement the changes, which is a big package in Talanoa, and a big challenge in itself. So these are just some illustrations of how you could represent the stakeholder relations and the systems of innovation, for instance. Yeah. So here you have two examples. Other examples, again, I will share the PowerPoint. Here also with different types of relations that are illustrated. And the last slide that Jean-Marc wanted to show, that we see often in this literature, is the idea that is called the multi-level socio-technical, I think, perspective, a multi-level perspective, is to say that innovations or specific adaptations are at the beginning in niche, so-called niche, in some separate and small places, so that are spread around the territory. And the challenge is that these innovations or solutions, adaptations that we will promote in Talanoa, that are proven to be efficient, then the challenge is that they join the socio-technical regime that is, let's say, the mainstream of doing things, of doing policy, of doing of using water. So the challenge is really to bring these innovations or these solutions into the socio-technical regimes. So this is also a specific literature with these two references from Gilles, which might help us. But yeah, maybe we could plan another session on that, because, as I said, I'm not an expert. So these were the few words. I don't know if you want just to make some remarks, question, even though I'm not sure I can answer them.
Thank you, Nina. It was a very interesting presentation. So I just one remark, I guess. So no question is the definition of transformational. What we mean by transformational in Talanoa is a little bit more ample to the definition that we had in this presentation. So just to make clear that if you have an incremental change in our definition, which is provided at the beginning of the proposal on the grant agreement, this is considered transformational to some extent. So it can be part of the transformational solution that we're considering. And also, of course, yeah, radical change as well can be part of the transformation. So just to make this clear, that the definition in Talanoa is a little bit broader in the definition of transformational, but yeah, apart from that, I very much enjoyed I agree with all the points of your presentation.
Okay. Excuse me, new people. No, it's okay. Does someone else? Okay, it's Abdo who has problems. So what I suggest on these ideas is that maybe in the guidance document we we will suggest you a small section on that if it might inspire you and guide a bit the way we are mapping the stakeholders and understanding this relation. And yeah, I think it's quite important if we want to go up to the implementation. This is what we need to have in mind, is if we target to do some implementation of these strategies, the idea is to know where we need to trigger, what type of stakeholders we need to involve, and what types of link or institution we want to trigger. Okay, if there is no other comment, remark, or idea, I suggest we go back to our Klaxoon board for the 5th session. And okay, I will. So the idea here, so I asked you to prepare some ideas about, yeah, first as an introduction, the idea is now to work like on the idea of a toolbox. Okay, what we will be mobilizing in Talanoa, what can be mobilized in our participative workshops. Also, what I didn't tell, well, maybe it appears at a bit, is that I think it's important that we think as a workshop series as really a whole process, a 4-year process. And in this process, we have a lot of different bricks, and this one will rely on different ideas like the Talanoa dialogues and the series game, which has like heavy points that we cannot skip. And the idea is that maybe we master, or we want to experiment other techniques that can complement and nourish the Talanoa dialogue. Even though I'm quite bad at thinking this interaction between the Talanoa dialogue. Does this enable other participative techniques or not? But at least, yeah, what I asked you is to think about what you know in terms of participative techniques or methods, and also express what you want to test in Talanoa, what are you interested in. So if we zoom in our, so it's number 5, in the participative toolbox. So the first idea was to share a bit among us what the partners masters. So I will just make a bit more space because I think we will be very limited. Maybe Dioni, you can start with, so I copy paste. Yesterday night I received more contributions. So if the remaining contribution, if you want just to copy paste your ideas or to post ideas of techniques, you can do it. Sorry, I had not time to complete that. Maybe Dioni, you can start with your one slide if you want.
Yeah,
Francesco
prepared that. I don't know if he's online. I think so.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Great. So Francesco can take over because he was the person preparing that for the Spanish lab, and make an introduction on that. I don't know what you prefer, Nina. You prefer us to put on the slide the slide directly on the Klaxoon, or do you want us to?
I already did it. You cannot see it. If you zoom, the first slide is yours. Is the one from Francesco with the different techniques. So it's just that you can. Do you see it, Francesco?
Yes,
okay.
I can see that.
Section 5. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just commenting quickly about this.
Yeah, okay. Well, we put a serious game and Synaplons and multilateral meeting in work in progress because these are the one that we have not already started. But we have started with brainstorming with stakeholders and bilateral meetings. So the next stage will be multilateral meetings, and then they will come serious game and synathlons. Synathlons are, if you don't know, are scenarios marathons. So are a type of serious game used to foster the understanding and integration of complex scientific modeling. And I think that's it. I don't know if Dioni.
So is it also, just to understand synathlons, is there a link to like a foresight or doing like future scenarios, or it's not necessarily in the future?
It's a type of serious game. So in reality, synathlons, we put it separately because we're considering to use it as the way of engaging stakeholders through serious games. But in the end, it's a serious game.
Okay.
A serious game in which basically, so a synathlon stands for a scenario marathon.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically, so it's what we are supposed to do in reality. But basically, you show them the consequences of many different scenarios through our modeling, work, and then they can take more informed decisions. And the way you organize the synathlon is, well, can vary, so it's not fixed. But the important thing is that basically in the synathlons you are showing them a lot of possible outcomes, a lot of plausible futures.
Okay.
The way of integrating uncertainty as well.
Okay. And then they also see the consequences of their decision, and okay. Exactly.
And it's much more. So instead of going with a game in which you just take decisions, this step, and you give limited options, here is much more open, and you have like thousands of plausible futures. Okay. And it's about going through as many of them as possible.
Okay. Okay, so I think what could be nice is that in the guidance we have this toolbox, and you can put a few lines and references on each method. Okay, thank you very much. So I think it's the tandem guidance who just put this. I think it's the Italian colleagues.
Yes, it was us. In the mail, you suggested also to explore things we were not truly expert on, no? But we had a few experience on, let's say, following some tips and suggestions from this guidance, and some of the ideas and the tools we was thinking about come from this. So I was just searching for the original guidance of Tandem, which is specifically intended for facilitating the co-designing in climate adaptation, climate service development. So it's quite, let's say, focused on the topics we are working on. And I just put the reference to the official guideline because we can just go further inside and pick some tools. For example, the humor-infused learning I was putting in the method come from one workshop we made with them. I think we can just have a look to the guidelines and pick some of the tools. Some I already mentioned and put in the methods in the part 3 of the board.
Yeah, I will copy it, and I will take it here so we have it with us. So just to understand that the tandem idea is like a whole methodology to work on adaptation.
It's a framework for involving stakeholders and co-designing different steps in climate services and climate adaptation, create knowledge around, no? Comes from SAY. And we had an experience on that. We also had a little a workshop on that during a previous project. And it just came to my mind that it can be a source of ideas and tools, specific tools for stakeholder engagement to have a look on and pick suggestions from.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's more a broad approach, and we can, yeah, it's really an important reference. Okay. Okay, thank you. Maybe I can just talk very quickly on what we have in. So we are doing also a little participatory work. For instance, in our last project, we organized climathons. So it's the idea of a marathon together with of a hackathon applied to climate action. So it's 24 hours in a city, or we did it in rural areas, where you mix different techniques of participation to reach some real operational projects, and with all types of attendance. So it's citizens, professional wine growers, policymakers, etc., etc. So this is one experience we can share. And what I put, oh no, and after I just put also an example of icebreaker idea. Is this idea? I think it's important also that we, in the participative, in the way we are conceiving participative sequences, it's important also to rely on, like say, social events and moments where you just create some nice spaces between people. So I think it's important not to forget this. So it can be lunches, it can be field visits, it can be just some short icebreakers that we did at the beginning of the session, where people meet and just relax a bit and are just not always listening to presentations or thinking. And so it's also important. So that we create a nice atmosphere and that people are motivated to come back. Then I see a slide on role playing for water pricing in agriculture. I don't know who added this. If you want to tell us 2 words.
Yes, sure. It's from the Lebanese lab. So initially, this is a tool that was designed by experts from IHE Delft. And the main pillars of this tool are knowledge sharing and peer learning to allow for in-depth knowledge production of decisions. We were actually thinking of conducting a workshop that would involve enrolled undergraduate agriculture students, along with researchers who are engaged on this project, as well as the selected stakeholders. And ideally, we can divide the participants into several teams. Let's say in this scheme, we're just saying 3 teams. And each team will be composed of a subgroup representing, for instance, 1 the consumer, 1 the farmer, 1 the stakeholder, another stakeholder. And each team will also be asked to tackle and respond to 1 scenario based on provided variables. And while the game is running, participants will be provided with what we call unexpected event cards, and they will have to respond to these unexpected variables. Such variables might be, for instance, extreme weather conditions, or farmers going on strike, or as it is in our case since October 2019, the devaluation of the Lebanese lira, how all of these can affect the assessment that we're doing on socioeconomic evaluation under the umbrella of agricultural water management. So we still haven't tested this tool, but we're also new to participative tools, and yeah, this is what we came up with for this workshop.
Okay, thank you. So how you can call it, if we want to refer to it?
So as an initial name, we called it role playing for water pricing in agriculture. It's actually, I can add the reference from IHE Delft.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can add it to the board maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I put a pink a pink question at the bottom left with if you have some links, internet resources, you can put it there, or anywhere else. Okay, thank you. I think we have our Tunisian colleagues also who paste a slide. Issam, if you want to tell us two words. No, it's not Issam, sorry. It's Jamel, I think. Today.
Jamel.
Hello.
Hello. I think start with cafe to enter the context and to engage stakeholders and then we can go to the serious game
Jamel, I think
and co-evaluate the sustainability of the current situation of
Jamel?
of our systems, and then we can identify, then we can co-analyze the sustainability of the system after the adoption of this relevant strategy. And finally, we can co-evaluate the result of the serious game.
Okay, Jamel, we hear you very difficultly. So we heard a few words, but it was a bit complicated to understand, but okay.
Jamel, can you hear us?
Yes.
The connection, your internet connection, it's not very good. Can you repeat your intervention, please?
Now it is good.
Just Jamel, technically, I see you are connected 2 times. Maybe this is the source of the problem. I don't know.
Can you use only one connection, please?
Now it is good or not?
We didn't hear you very well.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you will be able to complement maybe while writing in the next session. I just need to look at. Okay, I see it's. I think Dioni, you need to leave in 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry for that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we will continue, but we reach the end. Maybe just on this idea of toolboxes, do you want to take some more time to add some references of what you already have? So I think this we already discussed. Okay, it's here. Maybe we can take time after that, well, after the workshop to complement, and this will be referenced, organized in the guidance document so that we can see what are the methods that we master, and maybe put the references or at least the name of the partner who can help with some techniques. I think there is this idea of platform also. I think Italian colleagues have talked about, no, I can't remember the name, but Millimeter or something like this, which is another platform, maybe a bit like Klaxoon. Oh. So we might want to also have the discussion of if we need some support of any apps or, well, let's say participative apps or participative workshops. So we will be addressing this in the guidance document. I don't know what if you have some more ideas, well, or maybe we can skip this and concentrate on what you would like to test and where you are not an expert at. I think this is even more important that we have it here in the number 2, what we want in our toolbox. For instance, in our case, I experienced personally in a participative work for the city of Montpellier. There were a woman who was doing sketchnoting. So she just listened to everything what happened, and she drawed on big boards all the meeting. And for all the participants, it was like a really, really great experience, because they can see all their ideas turning into images, into sketches. So for instance, in my case, I really would like to find someone who has this skill and to hire a person for our important workshops, because I really think it brings something to the process. So if you have ideas in this type, maybe we can take 2 minutes to put them down in the box here, if in the box, well, toolbox number 2. Or if you just want to also share your thoughts orally.
And doing that, Nina, well, I have to leave now in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But just one quick comment. So first of all, well, Francesco will take over now from USAL and filling this information. And well, I just wanted to thank you for the excellent workshop. I think it was a very good idea to use Klaxoon, and I'm going through the document now, where we have lots of information that we'll have to digest to improve what we are doing right now. Before I leave, I wanted to let you know that, well, right now I'm going to a meeting at CNCC in which we are going to plan the next workshop we are going to have of the project. Will be on modeling. We don't know have a date yet, but we'll keep you posted. It will be in a month, because as I said, the idea is to have one workshop per month maximum. But I think that it's important to have a workshop every month or every 2 months, just to be in touch and avoid what Nina was just said. I think she conveyed it very neatly when she said that after 8 months, people may say, well, where are we now? And we want to avoid that. So yeah, the idea is that. So we'll let you know in a few days when we are going to, well, when we plan to have this workshop. Probably we'll send a doodle so that you can all fill it in. And I think that's it. The last part that Nina was, I think I had to do, was talking about the app and the
yeah, sorry, we should
and the website, but I did that before. I mean, I tried to do that. I was asking you to install the app and try to navigate it together, but perhaps we can do it the next day, because when I was doing it today, I realized that they are now making the changes for the multilingual.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's not working really well. I mean, now very buggy. So I mean, we'll do that the next time. It's much better. And then we can perhaps meet the lab coordinators on how to exploit the multilingual app. That will be a part. I mean, that won't be a workshop. Maybe we can meet in 6 people and do it. I mean, without need to engage all the others. And I think that's it. So thank you very much, Nina. I think it was, I mean, very well organized workshop. And we know it's very difficult to do that online. And hopefully not too long, we can meet in person. That would be great. As you know, we are supposed to have the next General Assembly in a few months. So if COVID allows, I think it would be great to have it in person, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, obviously. So thank you very much.
When do you plan the General Assembly, more or less? Before
it's supposed to be before summer or after summer. So we have one annually. Probably it will be after summer, but it will be ideally should be 1 month before the workshop, the first workshop. But yeah, it depends on how. If we're going to do it online, I guess we can do it before summer. But if you're going to do it that in person, maybe it's going to be after summer.
Okay.
Like the workshop. Yeah, that's something I had to talk to the organizers. I think the second one was, I don't know, it was in Egypt. I had to check.
I hope it's not us. Okay. Well, I think if we meet regularly in the labs, like let's say virtually, maybe it's worth to wait that we can meet in person for the General Assembly. I don't know.
Yeah.
If we try to to take regular meetings virtually, I don't know.
Yeah, it may be not necessary to meet in person if we do that, but well, it would be nice in any case at some point to meet you all in person.
Oh yes, yeah, no, I was mentioning this. I meant that I think it's very important that we meet in person. So maybe it's worth that we wait after summer if.
Oh yeah, okay,
you
yeah.
think it cannot be before summer if.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, it will be great. No, I mean it's not that complicated to organize one of these assemblies. I mean, it's not a workshop. We had the funding. I mean, it's just a matter of finding the venue, but it will be in one of our institutions. So it shouldn't be that difficult. But yeah, let's see. Depends on it. And we know that the situation right now is not is improving, but it's still. We'll see. I mean, I'm going to talk about that over this week with the organizers of the venue if we have it, and we'll keep you posted.
Great. Okay, thank you, Dioni.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Ciao.
Okay, I don't know if you want to take 2 more minutes to, if you have some ideas of techniques or methods, approaches that you want us to look at because you want to use them in your work, in your labs. I don't see a lot of ideas now, so maybe I also must forgive myself because I had planned to do a coffee break and I completely forgot to do this coffee break. So you should have recalled me because it's true that in online it's quite tiring. So now it's late, so we will just maybe go to the closing if you have no more ideas on this. I think we would skip that also. And yeah, okay. Then we had this the 6 with Dioni, but he already told us a few words on that. And as a closing, yes, the idea was just to, but I think we already discussed this, but if you have new items you want to mention on what the question is, what do you expect to see in the guidance that will really help you out so that we don't miss this part in the guidance document, which is really open now and which will be a collaborative document. So it's important that you mentioned a specific thing if you are really lost on one specific thing or less specific issue on the work on the labs, be it on the participative, on the engagement section, on the communication or whatever. We will work with a work package that are linked to these issues. So you should mention it here if you want. And to advance, so so the guidance document is due for the end of April. What we will do is circulate a first version, at least an outline of the document by the end of the month of March. So we have 1 more month to write it, to elaborate it, to see if there are people that are motivated to contribute with specific paragraphs, etc. But so you will have an outline of the guidance document by the end of the month. And please, after that, look also into details and see if all the topics that you need are addressed. And otherwise, we need to address them collectively. So I think it's really, again, my message is it's not useful that I sent you a guidance document that is all packed at the end of April if you open it and it's not answering to any of your questions. So the idea is really that we design it collectively and that your questions or ideas are addressed in the guidance document. Yeah, and the second thing we want to communicate as a conclusion is so we discussed this in the previous meeting with Dioni also, that we have a monthly meeting under Work Package 4 to assess the progress, to be like, the idea is to have informal meetings where we have at least one person per lab that is attending, and we just do a roundtable of where we are, what are our problems, what are our successes, and really make it a lively meeting where we try to improve our ideas and our experiences here. So to make it a nice place for the Work Package for lab work. So what we suggest with Dioni is to have this meeting regularly, so we can, from now on until the end of Work Package 4, which is, I think, a bit before the end of the project, schedule this in our calendars. And if it's okay with you, we could plan them on the first Tuesday every month. So this means that the next meeting will be on the 5th of April at 10 CET, Central European Time. Are you okay with this idea? Is this fitting to your agendas?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. As a frequency, one time per month, it's okay for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in the project document, it was written every 2 months. But I think particularly at the beginning, it's important that we take a nice pace of collaboration. And so as mentioned before, the idea is that we will pick a specific topic in addition to these roundtables. For instance, the next meeting, we suggest to Italian colleagues to, okay, Abdo has problems too. Oh, sorry. We suggest that our Italian colleagues present us the TALANOA dialogues. So the report and the way, the operational way to organizing these TALANOA dialogues. I think Dioni mentioned one other topic on how to use the app. And maybe I had another idea, but now it's gone. Yeah, we will need someone on the series games also. What do we call series games, and identify the experts in the consortium. Okay, I think we are done. Do you have any comments or?
Just a quick question, Nina. You told us to put like a definition of some of the tools, like for example, the Synaploms, that it's not that clear. Where do we put it?
Either you can, when you put, in the toolbox, I put, for instance, Senaton. You can open the idea again and modify it.
Okay.
If it's not too long, and I think it's a board, so it's like our creative space. Don't hesitate to just copy paste something. As you see, I'm not a designer, so it doesn't look really great. So the idea is just that we have the material and then we can work around. It's not my board, it's our board. So just feel free to add some, to reorganize or to move around if you want to add things. And so as soon as the ideas are there, it's okay. And before all, I will ask you to contribute on the guidance for this, typically for this reference in the guidance document, which will be a classical Word document. So it's okay. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for this long, having the patience and the energy, but I think we reached some nice ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Nina. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.